Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar dedicated to the Microsoft Agentic AI Factory. We have a collaboration between two reply companies today, WM Reply and AIM Reply. So we have quite a few people on the call. And today we are the following crew. My name is Anton. I am a partner at WM Reply, and I'm joined by Nastya.
Hi, everyone. I am Power Platform and Copilot Studio Principal, again at WM Reply, and we also partnered by AIM Reply today.
Thanks, Nastya. Hi, everyone. My name is David Semach. I lead AIM. We are a boutique artificial intelligence consulting and services firm. Really happy to be here today. Jordan?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jordan Hurley. As you see there, I'm an AI product owner, so I oversee the development of AI solutions as well as managing AI-led programs.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Carly, for manipulating videos behind the scenes and actually putting people on screen. Before we go and delve into the agentic AI topics, just a reminder: if you have any questions, drop them into the chat or Q&A section within this webinar, and we will come back to all your questions at the end of the webinar. We'll have a dedicated time for this. Cool. Before we start going into the details of it, just a quick reminder on who we are and what we do. Look, we are WM Reply, and we are a part of Reply Group. We are consultancy focused on M365 solutions, including Copilot, Office 365, SharePoint, Power Platform, Viva, and we have two main branches within WM. It's technical, and its people focus is adoption change management. So everything we design, everything we do is actually having this people-centric focus. We also have AIM on the webinar today, as David and Jordan said. They are AI strategy consultancy, specialized in data science solutions and platforms and AI-led process automation. We are together, both WM and AIM. We're part of Reply Group, which we're just two of about 190, maybe even more, global consultancy network, 16,000 people strong. So it's a massive network working with across the globe. We have consultancies specialized in all sort of things, starting from Microsoft, game development, robotic hands, AWS, all sort of stuff. So when needed, we are pulling people, SMEs, black belts from those organizations into the project. So to provide a proper coverage of expertise. And we're really proud of being Microsoft partner for more than a decade. We are global solution partner across all the specializations, and yeah, this is something to be really proud of, and I'm really proud of it. Okay, so today we're talking about the agents and AI Agentic Factory. Before going into the factory, let's actually talk about the agents. So first of all, why people are giving agents and agentic AI so much attention those days, because we had Gen AI booming within the last couple of years, but now agentic AI is taking the spotlight. And in my personal opinion, this is because a few years ago we had Gen AI, which was able to work with your content, which was the summarizing of content, producing new content, searching for answers, giving you responses, and it was pretty cool. It was given more time to employees when they were doing their day-to-day tasks, so shortening the duration of doing individual content-related tasks. Now, when LLMs can actually operate with the tools and they can make decisions, we have this agentic AI capabilities, and we can see each agent can actually do more than just process content. It can call the tool, it can make a decision, it can make subsequent calls, reason upon data, which impacts the further decisions. And when you combine few agents with those capability, you have a proper multi-agent systems, which can not only do the task, they can complete the entire workflows on their own, autonomously, or with your supervision, having you in the loop. But that's the quality change from working with content to completing tasks with the real world interaction if necessary. So how does this agentic ecosystem fits into the Microsoft employee ecosystem? We think that one of the ways of surfacing it is actually through the Copilot, whether it's M365 Copilot or whether it's Copilot chat. That's a really comprehensive approach to user experience and to orchestration. It's not the only way. There could be ways where it's combined with things like LangChain, semantic kernel, or bespoke UX, but this is just one of the ways to do this. And at Reply, to help organizations to enable and scale this AI ecosystem, we developed an Agentic AI Factory approach, which is unlocking enterprise value through a few things. It's Microsoft Agentic AI comprehensive features, inherent scalability, and robust security frameworks. So today we'll be talking about enabling Microsoft Agentic AI ecosystem through the factory approach, which includes the use case identification, key architecture considerations, including governance, of course, business transformation, adoption processes, and actually methods of capturing tangible business benefits from this agentic AI ecosystem and from the factory. Before we talk about the factory itself, let's talk about the agents, because it's really important to understand the way we look at the agents to actually make sense of how do we treat them as parts of this factory. So let's take a look. First of all, we will take a look at what an agent impacts, right? So it could be just personal productivity. So those individual tasks made more efficient for each employee. And it's almost a continuation of the M365 Copilot and Copilot chat journey on which many of you are today currently, and maybe some of you are working with us. And those personal productivity agents, they could be built with the agent builder, again, whether it's M365 Copilot or Copilot chat agent builder, or they could build use with Copilot Studio by any employee or by citizen developers. Then the agents can actually impact the productivity of the team or of the entire department, say procurement department or the HR department. And this again could be done in Copilot Studio by citizen developer, by the pro developer, or in some cases it may actually require some coding skills and coding interactions using frameworks like semantic kernel or LangChain. And finally, we will be talking about agents transforming the business on scale. And this is where it could also be built using Copilot Studio or Azure AI, but most likely this is where the professional developers will need to step in. And you will see that as we move from left to right, the amount of governance required will actually increase, because it's almost like very small governance at the very beginning, and that's a lot of governance security when we go to the pro code and the business transformation side of things. The other angle of how to look at the agents is what the agent can actually do. First of all, they could be just Q&A agents. It's almost like a smart document. Imagine you adding a little bit of intelligence to your Word or to your PowerPoint document, and you not just reading the document, but you're talking with the document. So that's what the Q&A agent can do. Then we can take a look at the tasks-based agent. So those agents, they cannot just answer the question. They can actually receive your request and go and do something, whether it's raising a ticket, or they can actually go and grab some information from real-time operating system, even things like IoT. So that's task-based agent. And the third bucket is autonomous agents. So something which is working behind the scenes, planning, adapting, acting, often independently. And the third angle of how you can look at this agent, almost coming into this Rubik's Cube or just cube, is the platform where agents are built. It can be no code. So just clicking through the wizard. And the very good examples are something like my HR agent or just an explainer agent, something which can just be done in Agent Builder. Then you can be building agents with low code. So looking at the Copilot Studio, but still not writing code, something like procurement agent, which we'll talk about later as well. And then when we move into the coded side of things, we can take a look at a single agent, such as, for example, the patent agent, providing analysis on external and internal patents and just synthesizing potential solutions. And then if you put those agents together into a multi-agent system, it could be something like the industry analysis, a family of agents dedicated to do the competitor analysis, supporting strategy decisions, and sometimes doing this autonomously behind the scenes in the background, just coming to you when they need your input or when they need your approval or when they actually need to surface some information for you. So let's start from the very, very beginning. And we'll be looking into the agents from those three perspectives. What is the impact? What can they do? And where can we build them? And let's start with Agent Builder. So again, coming back to this picture, we'll be looking at this personal productivity and the Agent Builder no-code solution. And where can they be built? So you can do this with Agent Builder in Copilot Chat. You can do this with Agent Builder in M365 Copilot. So the difference is whether it's a paid M365 Copilot or it's just a free Copilot Chat, which is coming with every enterprise license. This is where we can build them. What is the payment model? It could be included in the license. It could be pay as you go. It can be quite flexible, or it can be just free if we're talking about the web grounded data. Where can we pull data from? Can be from the open internet. You can just point to any website or to the entire web. You can pull data from M365, SharePoint, OneDrive, or Viva. This will, of course, impact the kind of licensing and payments, but those are the sources. Who can build them? Anyone can build them. It's end users. We're not even talking about the citizen devs of our platform yet. It's just anyone can build them. And what kind of tasks they will be doing? They will be actually retrieving knowledge for you. And I think that instead of going into another slide, let me just switch the gears slightly and show you a live demo of not just of the agent, because we have quite a few agents built internally for the personal productivity or just helping the team to work. But maybe let's just start with actually building an agent ourselves. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen, and that's a Copilot Chat. It's a free version of the Copilot Chat, and I would like to go and build an agent myself. I'll click on Create Agent, and I'll go to Configure. For the sake of this demo, I'm working in HR department, and I'm helping employees to answer the questions where they have questions regarding the policies.
Anton,
Yes?
apologies. We can see you, but we can't see your screen.
Okay.
Anton, you may have to toggle on the bring participant on screen for your screen. It's not letting me do it.
Right. Can you see it now? Amazing. I have thumbs up. Okay, sorry about it. Technical glitch happens all the time. So I am working in HR and I am creating an agent which will just make my life a little bit easier because I need to help my employees. I would need to answer their questions all the time. And I just might want to make sure that the answers I provide them are grounded in the authoritative sources. So I will start with typing a name for my agent. It's going to be the finance support advisor. I'll just give it some description. Yep, this agent will have to answer questions. and I will give it instructions. So probably this is the instructions is one of the most important.
Ton, it's not
parts.
working.
Yeah,
It's not working.
Some
Yeah,
people can.
it will
some
not
people
let
can't.
me bring you on screen.
Okay, let me try to share the entire screen now.
I was so chaotic yesterday. I felt like I was just like spouting feedback on that. And then it's really unhelpful.
Okay, can we see it now?
Leaving comments and also in the chat. It's like, oh god, I hope someone can follow the like sporadic nature.
Yes.
Colin?
That
Amazing. Okay. Thank you. Right. So I put the name for the agent I'm creating, a description, so that people can easily, if I will share the agent, find the agent in the store, and I'm pulling instructions together. So instructions is the bit where I'm actually instructing the agent how to behave, and I'm setting this up as a professional enterprise finance and HR support assistant that helps finance and HR professionals such as me provide accurate guidance to employees using official UK government resources. So this is the instruction. I'm configuring this in a way that I like. So I'm telling it how to respond to questions. It's going to be my questions. Currently, I'm just creating an agent only for myself. I'm not intended to share it with anyone else just yet. And in terms of knowledge, I can just say it can be all the websites, but I don't want to answers from Reddit or from Stack Overflow to appear. So I just want to go and say, this is one of the websites, the subsection of gov.uk. There's going to be one on benefits. And there's going to be another section here. So now I know that my agent will be grounded in the information, but not just anywhere in the internet. And I'm not using the M365 yet, but I'm just using those authoritative sources. I can create a couple of starter prompts, and one of them is the rules around. For example, I know we lost some time sorting out the sharing, so I will not do all of them. And this is how it's going to look like. What are the rules around? I can click it and then type financial support. So I will go and create the agent. And just in a second, it should be done, and it should be appearing in my rail. So I can go to the agent and I can start asking questions. So one of the examples I just prepared here is, okay, several employees are asked about help with energy bills and cost of living. What can I tell them? And it's taking this question and it's grounding this in the information it can pull from those sections on gov.uk which I've configured. And it's given me the response to this question. And I can use it to go and actually help my employees to have a conversation with them. And it's always, as per my instructions, giving me the reference to the source where it actually got the information from. And I can have this just as one question and answer, or I can go further and say, great, please help me draft the email comms about it to all UK colleagues. And it will use the previous information and it will help me to draft these communications. So again, it's saving me time because I don't have to always go and read through all the information myself. I just want to put this prompt, take a look at the answer, verify this with the sources, click on reference, make sure that yes, it's correct. It's actually corresponds with my knowledge, and give this answer to the to the colleagues. So you see, it's pretty easy. It's easier than sharing a screen on the webinar, and anyone can do this in the organization. But at the same time, what do we do if the agent that you would like to create requires a little bit more complex tasks and more complex interactions? So this is where we will be asking citizen developers for help. And I would like to hand over to Nastya for this.
Thanks, Ant. So yeah, that's great. Q&A agents can already help and solve loads of your questions, loads of your queries. But what if you actually need agents to perform some tasks? Well, that's where actually Copilot Studio can already come and play. So now we're going to look at this section when we look at the Copilot Studio for personal or small team productivity. So Copilot Studio is a low-code, no-code platform, and as any other platforms similar to that, it means that someone without much of an IT background can actually use it to build powerful agents. We call these people citizen developers. You might have heard this term in relation to other no-code, low-code technologies like Power Platform. And it's not surprising, actually, that now we apply same approach to Copilot Studio agents because Copilot Studio sits in Power Platform family. So similar to Power Platform training and similar to Power Platform citizen developers, as long as you get people excited, you show them some art of the possible, you provide them with some training materials, they can become your secret workforce to scale up efficiency at your organization. So why would you even bother at all with citizen developers? Firstly, they are the real business problems experts. They know their processes much better than anyone in IT would ever know it. Marie in HR, Pedro in finance, they know their ways of working, they know the bottlenecks of their processes, they know the challenges they face, and therefore, as long as you empower them with tools to build some solutions, it's just gonna go way quicker and smoother as trying to solving their challenges to IT or third-party vendors. Another thing is the IKEA effect. So there's been some studies that actually show that when employees are involved in building new solutions and automating their processes, they actually value it much more. All that emotional investment they've done to think through the process, gather requirements, look at how actually they can automate it, they just ensure a higher adoption rate of the technology. And that's what we want, right? When we invest money and time into building something new, we want to ensure that people actually use it instead of them keeping their old Excel spreadsheets and their old ways of working. Also, throughout the last years, so I said that like now we're applying concepts from Power Platform to Copilot Studio. And throughout the last couple of years, we've run multiple citizen developer trainings and academy for Power Platform. And we have proven value of usage of these no-code, low-code platforms for citizen developers. We have demonstrated that people without IT background can learn these no-code, low-code platforms, and they can build really powerful solutions using them. So people already have the foundations, and now it's just the time to move on to agents. Last but not the least is you can't give all the solutions development to your IT department or outsource it to third-party vendors. It's going to cost way too much, and also it just requires too much resources to try and build it all together. But citizen developers is your secret weapon to actually maximize and achieve your ROE and ROI, return of investment and return on employee at pace. You just ensure that you give them the right tools and they apply these tools to build powerful solutions for their own efficiency and for the efficiency of their teams. So if you were to run a citizen developer training for Copilot Studio, what should you bear in mind? Firstly, Copilot Studio, as I already mentioned, sits within Power Platform family. So it means that when you train people on Copilot Studio, you should still share some overall Power Platform guidelines with them, because all the governance, all the do's and don'ts rules are still applicable for the whole Power Platform family. You should also let them know some simple tips and tricks on how to build apps and flows, or remind them of those guidance if they've been already trained. And then you move on to agents. In terms of the training model, what we've seen in the past with Power Platform trainings is that online groups work perfectly for that, which is much cheaper and simpler than trying to get everyone in the same room together. You run this as an instructor-led sessions to let people actually ask questions in a live format. You split the sessions almost like half and half in between theory and hands-on exercises to ensure people get some practical experience during training, so that they, after the training, they can actually go and apply that knowledge to building their own solutions. And then you can also provide them with some reusable materials for self-learning if, well, they maybe haven't managed to join one of the sessions, or they want to continue learning and practicing after those instructor-led sessions. Also, don't forget to provide citizen developers with enough support if they got stuck at some point or they have loads of questions. During the instructor-led session, obviously, there is some opportunity to ask some of the questions to subject matter expert, but it's much better if you also provide your citizen developers with some drop-in clinics or one-to-one mentorship to ensure they get enough support and they can get their own agents over the line when they start building them. So I won't be going through too much details here, but if you look at Copilot Studio training structure, or Copilot Studio Academy, here's the suggested breakdown of levels or training materials of how you can run those kind of activities. So you start from baby steps. You start from the very simple level 0 session to get people excited with art of the possible. You show them some success stories, maybe even share something, some examples of enterprise-wide agents, something that you're building on the enterprise level. You get them excited. You show them also some simple examples of what they can build themselves. On level 1, you actually start giving them already that hands-on experience so that people start playing around with Copilot Studio and start building first agents themselves. At level 2, you ensure that people get more support to get those agents over the line and make sure people actually start using them and agents start bringing value. And you can treat level 3 as kind of a boot camp or hackathon to boost ideation of your organization and also ensure that for a limited group of people within a limited group of time, you every person involved, every team involved in this boot camp actually leaves it with some kind of proof of concept built at the end of this engagement. So yes, some of the use cases can be covered by citizen developers, but what if we need to talk about more complex use cases? If you already started going and going through opportunities for agents at your organization and collecting some backlog of ideas, you've probably realized already that some of them are relatively simple, so they can be picked up by people without much of an IT background, but also some of them might be more complex. They might require access to sensible data or to data outside of M365. You might require some custom orchestration and usage of custom models, which are a little bit beyond of citizen developers' scope. So that's actually when you move towards that business transformation stage. And now David from AIM Reply is going to tell us more about what should you do there.
Thanks, Nastya. So Our approach and philosophy is that Agentic AI and the Agentic AI Factory is actually a business transformation for companies and for clients. It is not necessarily technical-led or IT-led. And as a business transformation initiative, this has a whole set of business benefits. It's actually value-led rather than technical-led. And from a agentic AI standpoint, there can be a whole raft of capabilities that companies can leverage using either single agent or multi-agent systems. From a pro code standpoint, so we use Microsoft tools like Azure OpenAI, AI Search, Semantic Kernel, AI Foundry, and others. And regardless of the tech and the tools involved, as a business transformation, there's a whole set of value that can be realized. It's either enterprise productivity. So just to give a number of examples, we work with HR functions, we work with sales functions, we work with HR functions, legal functions, or R&D, just to give a few examples, e-commerce too, in order to realize business benefits associated with productivity. So by leveraging agentic AI capabilities, either single agents or multi-agent systems, we can actually enable some efficiencies and some value. It's not only limited to efficiencies, it's also a combination of new business models that actually agentic AI, like a multi-agent system, can enable. Just to give an example, working with a CPG company in order to enable same-day delivery. Currently, it is not feasible just because of the relatively complex business process. Leveraging an agentic AI capability, you can actually enable that. So it's a new business model as well as new business streams. Some of the differences between these complex areas, so between the no code and low code, there's obviously high scalability and throughput, which is enabled through, we call it the left-hand side of the Microsoft Agentic AI Factory. There's some cost considerations, citizen developer. You don't really need large engineering teams involved in that, as well as anything associated with M365, so has data security, privacy, and other considerations. On the right-hand side, so in a multi-agent system or in a single agent system, so there's an ability to actually establish relatively complex orchestration capabilities between the agents in order to talk to each other, engage with each other, and actually enable the business process. Custom UI or standalone applications are also enabled through a multi-agent system, as well as if there's a need for a complex RAG or, for example, to actually enrich your data with external data from external systems to the company. So that's also feasible. We'd like to package everything that you've heard so far. So everything that you've heard from Anton through Nastia, through what I've just mentioned, into what we call the Microsoft Agentic AI Factory. And for us, the factory has a set of core work streams and optional work streams. Think about it as a combination of business transformation and technical as part of the core work stream. So we have a transformation management office that actually leads this whole initiative. This can be CXO-led, As I mentioned, our recommendation and preference is it's a business-led initiative. So Transformation Management Office can start and engage with the CXO, actually bring this whole solution together in terms of a roadmap, in terms of just managing the end-to-end journey. Value and business benefits is actually a work stream that starts from the very first get-go. So you actually start to define the business benefits, then actually manage them and then track them throughout the whole initiative. Another work stream that we've seen extremely effective, both with business as well as with IT, is Innovation and Ideation Hub. Essentially going and working with teams around ideation. What's the art of possible? How can you actually make this work? Also capture a prioritization framework, capture everything into a backlog. So those types of considerations. Only then we bring in the technical fit. So up until that point, you don't necessarily need to focus purely on the technology and on the tools. So our model and best practice is actually start with the business and then actually start and map the technical and technology to it. We have part of the factory is also engineering teams, developers, if it's more in the pro code area. Training is critical. So anything related to AI today, Gen AI, is critical for training towards enablement of essentially the users, as well as something very important that you'll hear a little bit more is about the adoption and change management, essentially. We also, as part of the factory, we also have a number of optional work streams that won't necessarily go into right now. Our philosophy is seeing is believing. So we don't just want to talk about agentic AI. We actually want to show things that work. And I'd like to hand this over to Jordan to walk us through a live example.
So as you can see on the problem statement, so the use case of this is there are a number of companies we've been talking to and engaging with regarding the IP space, seeing it as a strategic avenue for competitive advantage. But it's quite a time-intensive role, whether that's the R&D team looking for opportunities to invent new products or new components, or the legal team looking to understand, the current landscape and if there's been any infringement. It's quite an intensive space. I believe the number of patents is something along the lines of 100, 200 million, and it's set to grow dramatically over the next few years. So being able to process all of that is particularly challenging. We've approached this by developing a solution that leverages a collection of agents to provide patent professionals, whether in R&D or legal, with insights and capabilities in a much more timely manner. The demo you can see that's playing is a combination of a dashboard, so based off an open source data set that we've taken, and an Azure AI powered chatbot, as well as leveraging things like AI search. What this allows us to do is provide insights into the overall collection of the data and present that to them, as well as then have them be able to interrogate that database. As I said, there's a number of different agents actually in the background to this. So we've got a database agent, as you'd imagine, that enables you to run the SQL queries, to return the insights. We've got a number of tool agents you're seeing right now being able to extract information from PDFs, being able to sort of take out information from graphs and other images. We've also then got a validation agent at the back end to sort of make sure that anything that is returned is formatted correctly. And overseeing all this is an orchestrator agent. We've also built 2 additional agents for some additional capabilities, one of which is a landscaping agent to help professionals in creating comprehensive overviews of the patents and intellectual property environments they find themselves in, and a categorization agent to help them organize it. This can be based on a generic set, so it learns from itself and categorize it that way, or we can use it with their own internal categorizations to make it easier for them and see how they internally would identify the different patents from external sources. But effectively, it's a series of agents operating in tandem together to give insights that will take people dozens of hours and lots of time and effort to do, and it can do it almost instantaneously. This is just an example of a multi-agent system and a multi-agent approach that can develop innovative solutions.
Amazing. Thanks, Jordan. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the people side of things, because the technology is always very exciting, but how to make sure those changes actually land. And the thing that I would like to really emphasize here is that with the Gen AI, and especially with the Agentic Factory, the change management, change and adoption, they should be involved from day one, almost day zero, unlike we've seen this sometimes in the traditional software development lifecycle, where the software can be developed, they should be you should be consulting with the focus groups, when you releasing it and you start training people how to use it. So with Gen AI, it always starts with just awareness and explaining employees how and what for they can use Gen AI and create agents. And we've seen this with example of Agent Builder, because if it's enabled, anyone can go and create it, and people can just be curious. But to be curious and have this ability, they need to understand, okay, what's going on? What is the instruction? Is it actually safe? Or it just has not been disabled? So some basic awareness should be happening. And then we've seen the further training will be required when we move to the citizen developers as part of the academy. So it's actually educating people, training them, explaining the mixture of the kind of the usage and the technical details about the tools that they will be working with. And it's, of course, adoption of agents. So built in previous steps, gathering feedback, measuring impact. And when we're talking about something which impacts the business transformation, something that impacts a lot of people, it's crucial to plan it people-centric. So always start first by planning, okay, how it's going to impact the people. Be transparent about the impact, about the job security, because people will anyways ask those questions. So it's really important to communicate it very openly and upfront. And this funnel on the right is just an illustration of how different use cases will require different adoption support when they move through the factory funnel. So some will just branch out earlier with awareness, and some will go further and they will actually require proper change support when those agents will blend in their organization. And it's always a cycle, right? We've seen that it's never just a finish point, because the technology is developing, especially with AI. So AI just getting the momentum, and especially agentic AI. And there are some shortcomings in the technology, but they will be very quickly fixed and rectified. Solutions will become more robust, and the tools will continue to develop. And users will need to grow with this for you to continuously leverage the true impact. And even experts like us can only give you so much guidance from like day zero, because it's never one size fits all. All the solutions, all the adoption, all the configuring of the champion networks, everything should be bespoke and tailored for you, which means that those we need to really put efforts into the proactive knowledge sharing and making sure that the champions network are supporting people. And those effects always will be incremental. And putting those pieces together can show you the whole picture, how it looks like, and it will help to signpost the future moves of how to develop further within this agentic AI journey. And it's all exciting, but let's not forget about practical things like governance.
Thanks, Ant. Yeah, probably not as exciting as talking about building agents or rolling them out as a factory at scale, but it's nevertheless still really important. So the first thing that I want to highlight here is that all agents that you build within Microsoft ecosystem already going to run on a secure and trusted platform. What it means that they're going to respect your data permissions and classification. It also means that your M365 security, compliance, and privacy policies going to apply to how the agents operate. But together with that, you have plenty of controls to actually tweak the way you configure governance and security based on your enterprise needs. You can control who can access, who can create and use agents. You can control how agents gonna use your data and where the agents can be published, or you can monitor how agents being utilized by the end users, and you can also track the whole agent's lifecycle, starting from the point when agents are created till end of their life. So remember in the beginning when we were talking about the whole spectrum of agents, going from Agent Builder to Azure AI Foundry and Semantic Canal on the right, we and said that governance also should grow from the left-hand side, from the left to the right-hand side. And I want you to think of it as an adaptive governance model. So depending on the technology choice within Microsoft ecosystem, and also depending on the agent's criticality, not all of them are equal, right? We have those really low complexity agents which are shared with just a small group of people or built just for someone's personal efficiency. And for these kind of agents, because they're low risk, low complexity, you should enable it to more people within the organization, but you should ensure that you have bit stricter guardrails on those kind of agents. Say, these agents can only access M365 data. If you want to share that agent, you can only share it with 5 or 10 people to ensure to control the sprawl of agents. But then as you go to the right-hand side, to those multi-agent systems, these agents are going to have much more capabilities, much more functionality. They're going to access much more data. But on the other hand side, you should just limit then the audience of who can create and who has access to all that functionality to create this kind of agents. And then you have all the various agents somewhere in between. So again, you should just play around with amount of functionality your agents can have and access to data, and then the size of audience of who gets access to create these kind of agents. And then the exact actions going to be slightly different depending on the technology you choose, whether it's Agent Builder, Copilot Studio, or Azure AI Foundry. And to wrap it up, I'm going to hand it over back to Anton to share some of the actionable steps with you, how you can actually get started.
Thanks, Nastya. So first of all, there's a QR code if you want to know more about it. It was supposed to appear at the end of the slide, but we have it at the very beginning, which is fine. But in terms of the actionable steps, like what you can do today or tomorrow, really. So first of all, have a think and understand what kind of benefits you would really like to unlock with Gen AI and with the Agentic AI specifically. Do you have KPIs for this? Is it a strategic direction of the organization? Like, why would you do this? We strongly believe that it should not be just because of the technology itself. It should be because of the tangible benefits you would like to unlock. Second one is just honestly go in Copilot chat and try to build an agent yourself, an agent builder, just to feel it, just to understand how it looks like, to get this little bit of excitement and play with something you've just done yourself. But also when people around you in the organization will be asking questions, will be talking about it, you can actually know that it's not that scary and you can just do something with just web-grounded data. Joe, go and play. If you have a chance and if you haven't applied those governance controls, just take a look at your tenant and into the Copilot, I think it's integrated app section, and take a look at the agents that people are building already in your organization. There may be a case where you will be genuinely surprised, but just finding out that people already started doing this and how many agents are there. Just, yeah, have a look, be aware. And then, of course, if you're running into the issues with whether it's governance or whether you're trying to build agents and the AI doesn't work, orchestration is not working, the quality of answers is just subpar or it's not predictable, just get a support from SMEs just to address those issues and troubleshoot, just to unlock you so that you can go even further on the journey. When thinking about change and about supporting your people adoption, just take a look at the publicly available Microsoft training materials. We can drop a link later. There's a whole site Microsoft built. I think it's adoptionmicrosoft.com, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of materials on how to land those agents, this messaging, the Gen AI in general, Copilot. There's a lot of material just available out there for free. But also, when you look at there, make sure you tweak the training content towards your organizational needs, because as we said, it's not one size fits all. This is just a generic guidance. We should always tweak it to make sure it lands very well with your particular organization. And yeah, host innovation workshops. We've done one. We've hosted a workshop, Innovation Day, I think in April. We're definitely going to do one later in this year, around kind of September-ish time. And we've seen how it actually works, and people come in with ideas and they're trying to build something. They get into the problem, they unlock in the problem, but then also they go and they talk about the benefits and they talk about the problem and how can the problem be solved. So we've seen a very good impact of the innovation workshops internally and externally. Definitely try this format. It's very engaging. You can see a lot of ideas coming through. So I'm pretty sure that this one and the QR code, this is the last slide. And thank you very much. We have a couple of questions in the Q&A section, I believe. Let me just bring them through. I think we can stop sharing. Can we? We can. Okay, first question, and I think, Nasty, it will be for you and me together. Question from Mike. I understand from engineers in my team that Copilot Studio agents introduce data egress risks. Are the security controls maturing with Copilot Studio and other agentic tools to allow admins to implement a tighter boundary in this context? And the second part of the question, apologize, can offer a technical example myself, but I know that currently custom agents are outside of our risk appetite, but we can definitely see the value they offer. So I think one of the examples I can think of is when you have autonomous agent or an agent pulling data from SharePoint on your behalf and then sending this outside of the organization boundaries. That's because it's maybe submitting this to SAP, or maybe you have your agent being exposed to the external parties, like a very good example of the data egress risks. So that's something about DLP and controls environments.
Yes. Yeah, so with Copilot Studio, same as with any other component sitting within Power Platform Suite, we have a set of policies called data loss prevention policies. Basically just means that you configure what kind of connectors you can and cannot use together. So in the combination with Copilot Studio, you can configure policies like, if some process is triggered from Copilot Studio, I can send data to SAP, but I can't send data to Salesforce, or any other combination. You can also block certain connectors at all from the environment where agent is built. So that's another actually concept with Copilot Studio, that you're building agents on the environment, which is just like a box where you create agents and apps and flows. So you apply DLP policy to the environment, and then you say which connectors cannot be used at all. So you can say that You can't integrate with LinkedIn, for example, at all, or you can't integrate with Workday, but then you still can integrate your agents with SAP or Salesforce. There are certain limitations in out-of-the-box pre-built connectors within Power Platform, just how the way they operate, the level of security and authentication they provide. But to eliminate those risks, you can actually build custom connectors. So Power Platform allows you to build custom connectors when you just define exactly what kind of actions, what kind of authentication you're going to be using towards the certain system, and then you can use that custom connector to allow your agent to be integrated with anything beyond Copilot Studio. And anything you have to add?
Yeah, it's just one thing that Microsoft at the build, they've announced quite a few new controls, such as advanced connector policies. There's a whole page. I'll put this in Q&A. I'll just drop this into the chat as well. There are a few more things which are less, not less, they're more advanced. They come in as well, but also making sure that, yes, you have, you're starting with the tightly controlled environment for development. So that's like almost like a sandbox. And then in this control environment, you can understand and evaluate the agent behavior. And only when you've done this, you move in this agent going further, going forward. And remember about this metrics that Nasta shared. That I think it's a very good kind of adaptive way of measuring governance and risks. Okay, another question. Do we need to learn Python, or can work with my existing C# skills to develop pro-code models agents? Absolutely, you don't have to learn Python. Our team, for example, WM, we are using C#, and therefore, instead of LangChain, we're using more semantic kernel as a orchestration framework. But Microsoft is investing a lot in C# and .NET libraries for it as well. The SDKs are very good. I know Python has been historically very popular with AI and machine learning, but today, in terms of the SDKs and in terms of the Microsoft ecosystem support, .NET and C# are definitely picking up very quickly. Okay, I think that's all the questions we had for today. If you have any other questions, make sure that you got the QR code, you have our contacts from the webinar. Feel free to reach out and ask anything else, and we're very happy to help always. Again, thanks for your time, thanks for joining, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.